All right, it is Mr. E, and I am back with the daily BS report. Wisdom from the Black Sheep from the Compassionate Economic Headquarters of the River House. And we have been doing a community here for years, and in the community, we have all these beautiful people that have come around here and done all this beautiful art and made all this incredible magic and been the most beautiful, enlightened, fantastic, wonderful people. I noticed a few years ago all these folks were characters in the tarot, as well as stepping into their highest potential. So I decided to put everybody on the cards, all the major players here over the last 8 years, and come up with this deck, Black Sheep Tarot, 514 Tarot, with this wisdom oracle as well, with all the sayings from all the books that have been written here and all the great things that have happened. So we're going to do a little daily read. We've been doing it now. This is day number 9. Day number 9. I believe it's February 10th. Somehow, some way, it's got to be February 10th. So I'm going to pull 3 cards. We're going to see what the message is, and then we'll pull something out of the wisdom oracle too. Okay, so 2 cards have come up so far. And one of the things I did not mention, it's a perfect time to mention it because the first card is slow down. Are you open to the possibility of magic? And this was a sign that used to come by when you came onto the property years ago. Slow down. Are you open to the possibility of magic? It's not asking if you believe in magic. It's like, are you open to the possibility of magic? And what this is really about is that are we closed off in our minds, or is there a little teeny tiny crevice that we could exploit and say, hey, God, Holy Spirit, whatever it is your beliefs are, Mother Earth, Father Sky, I have a little bit of willingness. There's a little possibility in me that is open to the fact that there is something beyond this 3-dimensional world that my 5 senses see, and maybe show me that there's more. I'm open to the possibility. So right now, let's take a moment and just get open to the possibility of magic, open to the possibility of something bigger, open to the possibility of solutions that you cannot see right now, but they are there if we just simply open our inner eyes. Second card that came up is the rest card. It's the 4 of daggers, and the 4 of daggers is saying it's time to lay down the thoughts that we have about ourselves that are jagged and pointed, that we have self-judgment, that perhaps somehow we aren't exactly in the right place at the right time, because those are the exact thoughts that'll close down that possibility of magic. So that's what the message is today. The new suit, the Earth, the 8 of Earth. We have a new suit in our deck, and it's all about compassion. It's bringing the element of compassion to our awareness so that the Earth appears in what it really is, which is an enchanted land, the world of enchantment, right? All right, so the next card, wow, look at that, is the 8, the major arcana, inner strength. Inner strength. You can see she's out in the wilderness, and she's beating on a drum. She's finding her inner strength. She's going inside. Now that's a pair of 8s. I love seeing numbers on the read. So 8. Perhaps you got 8 inner strength, and you've got 8 of the new earth. The new earth being the 5th suit. The element of compassion helping us to see outcomes beyond the ones that are right in front of us with our 5 senses. And to do that, sometimes we've got to beat on a drum and find our inner strength and look beyond our egoic and limited perception of the world, right? The world is enchanted. The world is magical. Anything is possible when we open up the heart. We believe in the possibility of something beyond what we're seeing. And that's really the message for today. Slow down, be still. And it's very interesting because right now we're in the 3rd phase of the moon cycle, and it's called Are My Hands in the Dream, which means this is a time where the resistance is fierce before the full moon, and it's a time to get our yoga practice up and maybe get our exercise program up and really take some concrete, real life action towards our goals, but not to do it from a place of a have to, or this is the way it has to be. But actually, before we take our action, before we put our hands in the dream, we go, am I open really to there's something larger happening here, or am I working in the same 3 dimensions that everybody else is working in? Because it seems like if I raise my vibration, I would raise my belief system. If I opened up my inner vision to see and to be above, and then all of a sudden I could see how to move the chessboard pieces in the game of my life a little bit better. So the Wisdom Oracle 514, we're pulling a few cards of that. And the first card out, and I did some Statue of Liberty art years ago when I found out that there's a plaque on the inside of the Statue of Liberty that says something like, for the enlightenment of us all. You know, it's not a symbol of capitalism. It's not a symbol of freedom from danger. It's not a symbol of our country per se. It's a symbol of light. It's a symbol for us all to raise our arm with our light and shine the light for others. She is shining the light for us. She is offering, and here it is again right here. I am you, right? The Statue of Liberty is us. This light is ours. This light is ever present all around. And it really goes right hand in hand with, are you open to believing in the possibility of magic? Because all magic is perception. It's a loving perception. A miracle is a loving perception. So when we have a loving perception of life and we align with the natural cycles and we are one with it and we slow down and we go, oh yeah, I was getting too lost in my head. I was getting too lost in these narratives that the culture keeps throwing at me. But when I slow down and I find that crevice within me, a little bit of willingness to open up to the divine play, then all of a sudden I can see the light, and the light shines out, and then the light shines into the darkness of my mind, and then all of a sudden solutions are here and things happen and people show up and great ideas get advanced forward, right? So this card says, when we measure ourselves by society's success, we can never reach it. We must then redefine success as compassion. All humans can succeed in compassion. Yes, everyone. That's the point. Now, so slow down. Are you open to the possibility of magic? Are you open that you can be successful not by any other realm of any other standard of measurement, simply because you're compassionate and loving towards yourself and others? What if that was the bar? What if we lowered the bar down for everybody so that everybody could jump over it? Then we would all be successful. That would change the way we interacted with everything. So, are you open to the possibility of magic? Developing inner strength. Inner strength. It really takes discipline. It really takes discipline. And don't be scared of discipline. Don't be scared of it. Don't be scared of it. A little bit of time every single day in meditation, in studying, watching these videos, a little bit of time to condition your mind to believe that everything is working out for you is going to make your life a lot easier. You know, we have this thing that if we work harder, we're going to be more successful. No, that's not what this is saying. That's saying slow down, be open to the possibility of magic. Redefine your idea of success as compassion, and then develop the inner strength of your mind to hold that frequency. Lay down the swords of your life. Lay down, take a rest, lay the mind down. Open up to the possibility of magic. And then all of a sudden, great things are happening. Great things are happening. And we want great things to happen. And we want great things to happen. And we deserve great things to happen. It can always happen that way for anybody. And the best way to help yourself become magical being in a magical world is to show other people how they can be magical in a magical world. Then the miraculous opens up for us all. The loving perception opens up for us all because we're seeing ourselves as compassion. We're shining the light of compassion, self-compassion, compassion, compassion. If we see anybody else's light dimming, we immediately remind them, no, are you open to the possibility of magic? Are you open to the possibility of magic? Are you open to the possibility of magic? All right, one last card for our read. Wow, it's a pair. It's another Statue of Liberty. And it's interesting. There was a book that came out, my 7th book. It all started out in the dark. So the first pages were the Statue of Liberty in the dark, and then it moved, and this is as the dawn is coming up. The dawn is coming up, and then there's some other ones that shine, that have different light behind it. But right now, this card just came up, and it says, is there any way to not notice and still play dumb? And the dumb, D-U-M-B, is over her mouth, right? That's what being dumb is, not using our voice, right? Not using our voice, or not being able to use our voice, or having no voice. And a lot of us have convinced ourselves that we don't have a voice and our voice doesn't matter. And yet we are all children of the divine. We are all children of this magical earth. We are all children, and we can all find self-compassion for ourselves and recognize that we're all the same. We're all these beautiful, beautiful divine sparks that have somehow come in and created a human body, which is a communication device for love or hatred, whichever one we want. And if we put love, we get love back. And if we put hatred, we get hatred back. If we put judgment in, we get judgment back. Right? So we're letting go, we're letting go. And what this card is asking is to bring yourself out of the dark. Because is there any way to not notice and still play dumb? In other words, can we walk down the street, and I'm making an assumption here, but let's make an assumption for a point. And the assumption is you're doing pretty well, and you've got a place to live, and you know what you're doing in your life, or at least most of your resources are taken care of. If you're watching this video, and can we really then see all the inequity everywhere? People sleeping on the sidewalks that have very, very little resources, or even like faith or belief or anything. The different levels in our perception of the way things are on this world. Is there any way to not notice that and still keep our mouth closed? Like, for real. And when we're keeping our mouth closed, and when we're not noticing, and when we pretend not to notice, I mean, this is funny. When I was a kid, I used to walk into I had this fabulous home I grew up in, and sometimes a dog would poop on the rug, and I would walk into the really nice room where nothing was ever to be disturbed, and my dog was so right on point to poop right in front of all the beauty and the things that couldn't be touched, right? But I would pretend like I didn't see the dog crap on the lawn, on the rug, and go into a different room. Is there any way to not notice and still play dumb? Is there any way to not notice and still play dumb? Yes, there is, but what is the consequence of that? And if you're doing that, are you open to the possibility of magic? Are you open to the possibility of magic? It's much better if we see the dog crap to pick it up. It's much better if we see something in our life to actually do something about it, because we still notice it. It still goes in. And if we didn't take care of it, we didn't leave it better than we found it. We didn't leave it better than we found it. So we want to leave every person and everyone better than we found it. Use our voice. Develop self-compassion, folks. Self-compassion, self-compassion, self-compassion. Slow down. Are you open to the possibility of magic? Leave behind the old thoughts about yourself that are pointed and sharp. The old thoughts that are pointed and sharp about anybody else or the world or everything else. And that simple laying down of those old thoughts is going to allow you to open up to the possibility of magic. And then take in that crevice, in that opening, in that awareness, take some time, 8-8, inner strength, develop inner strength. She's beating on a drum. I like to beat on a drum, get a rhythm going, and start talking about the things that are coming around in my life, or I want to, what I see, what I'm excited about. It's our responsibility to open ourselves up to the possibility of magic. And you can do it. And if you ever want any assistance, let me know how it goes. All right, folks. Lesson number 9 from the River House in Boulder, Colorado. Have a fabulous day.